Good evening.
Good evening.
We want to welcome you all to the forum that will be representing the 43rd Senate seat and the 92nd House seat for the state of Georgia. We're glad to see you all here, and we are going to start on time so we can end on time. And I am here just to welcome you and to acknowledge the organizations that have come together to put this forum on. People are still coming in, but we're going to go ahead and do what we need to do to get started. If you're members of the organizations, as I call your name out, please just stand. First of all, I am the president of the Rockdale Movement section of the National Council of Negro Women. Would those leaders please stand? We have the CAB chapter of the NAACP and the president, Mr. John Evans. We have the Rockdale chapter of the NAACP and the president, Mr. Gary King. And we have Newton County NAACP, which is Ms. Gwen Cabbage, and I believe she's still on her way. Did Gwen get in here yet? Okay. And then we have NAM, which is the National Action Network, which representing is Ms. Ruby Boucher. We have the Rockdale Newton League of Women Voters. The president is Aileen Eaton. And that's what we wanted to do. Because this election crosses over 3 counties, we wanted to make sure that we came together in a collaboration where we can meet centrally and pull as many people as possible. And we are desperately hoping that more people will come in, hear the issues, hear from the candidates and their platforms, and make a decision, because we vote when? I can't hear. November the 3rd. We haven't already voted. Early voting goes until the 30th. So we do have that little time frame there, but the date is November the 30th. And without further ado, I am going to bring up one of the pastors here on staff, the Antioch AME Church, to do an opening prayer for us. And if you would just hand him the cordless mic. We're going to bring up the moderator. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Art Crutcher, who serves on the executive board for the Newton County chapter of the NAACP, who's going to be moderating for us, and I'm going to have him to come up and explain the rules, and he's going to take it from here.
Thank you, Ms. Rhonda. All right, you know when we're at games and they kind of like to recognize where people are from. So, I'm not going to make you get up in your way, but all those from DeKalb County, let me hear you say yeah. Yeah. All those from Newton County, let me hear you say yeah. Yeah. And Rockdale County, where are you? Yeah. All right, I'd like to say hello to and thank you to Antioch AME Church and the church family here. We'd like to also thank Pastor and Reverend Dr. Stafford Wicker and the whole family for letting us and opening your doors for us. Now, for those that just might happen to need some other doors open, I'm sure they'll stay around for you if need be. Amen? Amen. Now, we ask that all mobile phones be on silent or off. I check mine, let's check yours. All materials that candidates want handed out, please refer to the vestibule. They are laid out on the table. We do not want those being handed out during the forum. We want all attention on the platform. The candidates in front of you, there are 9 total. We have 7 here present that are running for the nonpartisan race for the Georgia State Senate District 43. We have 2 candidates that laid down in the end that are running for House seat number 92. They agreed to come off the road tonight, come talk to us. And we do thank you for doing that. Please give my hand. We also thank you for your participation in this electoral process. And we thank you for also agreeing to be elected to serve the public interest of Newton, Rockdale, and DeKalb County. Now listen to the candidates. First we have Ms. Angela Moore.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you all very much for having this forum this evening. My name is Angela Moore, and I am engaged in the race to become your next senator. I wanted to run because I am a Democrat for democracy in my real life, and I really do believe I'll make an excellent senator. My interest in the entire district will range from transportation, education, health, welfare, and safety. I'm sure that's not any different than anyone else here on the panel, but how we execute it and how we form our relationships with other officials and companies is what makes a difference. I am an award-winning community activist and advocate. I've worked with the NAACP and I've served. Thank you, I'm sorry, I just had to put that out there first because you all are here and I want you to know that I am a life member. I am also I was the former chair of the committee for the immediate past senator, Steen Myers, who was the senator for the 43rd district, and I served as her chair as a liaison between you, the constituents, and she, the senator. I also have served as the 92nd House District Chair for the Democratic Party, and as well, and I have a lot going on because I have served on every committee everywhere that I could get my hands on in my community. But these are the top, and it's the most important that I have served as the communications chair for the Democratic Party. I stand before you today as a nonpartisan candidate, which allows you, the voter, to choose regardless of party affiliation. I hope that you'll visit my website, voteformissangela.com, and consider me as your next state senator. I'd love to speak with you after the forum.
Thank you, Ms. Angela. Let me make this correction of the rules. We will, in fairness for the rest of the panel, we will have your remarks actually at the end. Everyone okay? All right, fantastic. I'm just going to do introductions for now. Just raise your hand and introduce you. All right, Representative Tommy Anderson.
Good evening, everyone, and I want to say thanks to Reverend Dr. Wicker for opening his doors. I feel at home because I am A&E born, bred, and Bible fed. Amen. I am former state representative of the newly formed District 92, not just former but the first. I have served on the local level as a city council member, legislative branch, as a mayor, executive branch, and state representative, for which a portion of this district covers. I am seeking the House Senate seat because the car is already in motion. There's no need to change drivers, we can just change lanes. I have the experience, I have the expertise, and I have the relationships already built that will continue to help us forge a workable and a livable Senate District 43. Thank you.
Thank you. Sharon Sawyer.
Thank you. My name is Sharon Sawyer. I'm a resident right now of Newton County. I've worked in Rockdale County. I spend at least 60 hours a week in Rockdale County, working for one of the largest mining firms in the country, Lazonia Lighting, and a former resident of DeKalb County, Kirkwood and East Lake. And Mr. John, you might not know me right off, but we work very closely on some issues in DeKalb County. And I'm very fond of DeKalb County. That's where my education came from. And coming up and down the corridor between DeKalb County, Rockdale, and Newton County, where I live now, is one of the most, it's one of the best districts in this state. And we need somebody that is in the state that's going to have the interest of all three counties. I think I'm the only candidate here with tri-county experience. Like I said before, I was born and raised in DeKalb County. I work every day here in Rockdale County. I support the businesses and civic organizations here, and I also live in Newton County. And we in Newton County just got off a big issue there with our landfill down there. It was a very hot issue that was going on. And so when you got somebody that's involved in all three counties, I think you'll be able to take all of the issues to the state that's going to represent all of us, DeKalb, Rockdale, and Newton. Once again, my name is Sharon Sawyer, and I am the candidate for the 43rd. Thank you.
Thank you. Diana Dunlap.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Diane Daniels Adoma. I'm a native of Bainbridge, Georgia. I live in Lithonia, Georgia. And I believe of all the candidates sitting here on this stage today, I believe that I've come the farthest in life. And the reason I say that is because my life started out in a broken home. And then I went from a broken home to a foster home. And then from a foster home to a single parent. And then from a single parent, I went from a GED to almost a PhD candidate today. My husband, Ose John Adoma, was an orphan. So ask me if I understand the struggle. In addition to that, I'm proud to tell you today that we own all the H&R Block franchises here in Rockdale County. In addition to that, we own a farm in Ideal, Georgia. And so our clients are Publix, Whole Foods, and Kroger, and so on. So what have we done? We've overcome those struggles and have a taste of that American pie, but it wasn't easy. Our children we love our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert Short.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the different civic organizations for having us out here. My name is Marcus Jordan. I currently serve as Chief Appraiser in Newton County. My responsibilities include overseeing a $2 billion tax digest, along with a $1 million department budget, and along with staff. I've been employed with Newton County for 17 years. I am poised to be your next state senator. I am Georgia born and reared, and I'm motivated by the opportunity to create new ideas which will bring economic development and also pre-apprenticeship programs into our youth to allow them to have a skill set to succeed in life. And thank you.
Thank you. Janice Ness.
Janice Van Ness. Nice to be with you tonight. Thank you to my neighbor for letting us use your building here tonight. I do want to say that I have a proven track record of service to our community and the citizens here in Rockdale County, as well as in our District 43. I am the founder and CEO of Peachtree Academy. One of our branches is right next door. And I've also been a Rockdale County Commissioner for 8 years and finished service in December. And this would be a great new platform for all of the residents in the district to have a new voice and to have great new opportunities. I'm about building relationships, and whether your concerns are poverty, homelessness, jobs in our community, economic development, I have a wide breadth of experience and knowledge and relationships, and I'd be willing to serve and help you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stan Williams.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Stan Williams, and I'm running to represent you in Senate District 43. My background, I served in leadership positions in corporate America. I worked for the Clinton administration, and I ran a nonprofit. I've served in several executive level positions in my life. What I'd like to do is represent you and make sure that we pull together these three counties that are represented in District 43 in a way that we can bring all of the economic value that we need to this area, as well as ensure that education for all our children is world class.
Thank you. That completes the candidates for Senate House 43. And we're going to go over to House Seat 92 and start with Doreen Carter.
Good evening, everyone. I am Doreen Carter, and I want to thank our host, thank our pastor, for allowing us to be here. Thank you for the pastor for allowing us here at Antioch. You know, I want to serve in House District 92 because, like you, I believe that Georgia deserves better. We deserve to expand Medicaid. We deserve to have excellent schools in our district. And we deserve economic development that will bring jobs for livable wages. So on November the 3rd, I'm asking you to elect Doreen Carter because I've been vigorously advocating for communities for the last 2 decades, and I want to continue to vigorously advocate for you in the 92nd District. My name is Doreen Carter, and I ask you for your vote.
Thank you. Sherry Washington.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sherry Washington,
and Washington Works. That is not a campaign slogan, that's my lifestyle. Sherry Washington worked her way through undergraduate school with three jobs and a daughter and graduated with honors. Sherry Washington worked her way through graduate school with 2 jobs and a daughter and graduated with distinction. Sherry Washington worked her way through law school with a job and a daughter, and that is my lifestyle. I get down, I get dirty, I am ready to work, put all of my skills to work for job improvement, economic development, better education, and just a better holistic lifestyle. It's about quality of life. Sherry Washington wants to work for you, so when you go to the ballot, from now to November 3rd, I'm second on the ballot, but I want to be your first choice. Sherry Washington, because Washington works. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Washington. You just heard from our 2 candidates for Georgia House seat 92. All right, now the rules for the remainder of the forum. After each question is asked, the candidate has 1 minute to respond. Mr. Sears will hold up the green go sign and start. The next sign you will see is a yellow 30-second sign. And the remaining sign you'll see is a red stop. And then you'll see again, stop. All right, this format is in place to make sure we get as many questions in to our candidates during the time that we have here tonight. We have questions already in queue from our sponsoring organizations, and we will also solicit questions from the audience per white cue cards that will be handed out by members of our NCNW chapter. All right, go. Let's get going. First question. This is from Newton County NAACP. State Resolution 287, also known as the Opportunity School District, has been approved by the Georgia legislature to amend the Georgia Constitution and allow the state to intervene in chronically failing public schools in order to improve student performance. 2-part question on that. What will you do to manage it so that it doesn't negatively affect schools and students in this district? And the other part of that question is, do you see the OCD as a failure fixer or an oppressive tool, and why? Let's start with Mr. Williams. Yes, sir.
I see Opportunity School Districts as a failure and inhibitor to real education improvement. I believe that education belongs in the hands of the local community. And I think that we need to put the resources and support in the local community to make every school a great school.
Hi, Janice Van Ness. I know there's a lot of controversy about this topic, but I will say in DeKalb County alone, there's 26 failing schools. Our children who are sitting in those schools every day and the parents are trapped in a failing situation. We have to have a different alternative. Local control is what I normally would support, but when there are options that are not being given to these children, it saddens me to think where these children will be in the future. These are the investments, these kids are the investments that we need to make sure we're working on now for a stronger future for all of them, for all of us. So please make sure that you also look at the fact that when the local control is not working, that there's an alternative. And sometimes when we have new ideas, they're not flawless. They have plenty of problems with the initial idea, but the concept in itself could change the future for every one of those children sitting in the school system. So I ask that you also consider that and help work towards resolution for refining the program. Thank you.
I do Opportunity School District as a parent, and I feel like the schools, there should be a local balance and all that. And that's why I'm promoting the idea of the pre-apprenticeship program in the school. Because we need new ideas to keep our students' mind in place and give them skill set for the future. So yes, I do that as a parent.
Good evening, everyone. I see the Opportunity School District as a fixture. I think it will fix things. Why do I say that? Because a large percentage of our African American children live in what we call ghettos, or defined as failing neighborhoods. And those students are confined and they have to attend a neighborhood school. And when the schools are failing, these parents don't have the opportunity to educate their child in another district. And what happens when they can't do that, they're locked into those failing school districts and they don't have the opportunity to be able to attend some of the schools that are high performing. So I actually see OSD as a fixture, and I see it as a plan B to something that we don't have an alternative plan right now.
Again, my name is Sharon Sawyer, and I'm from Covington, Georgia. And I disagree with the bill, because I think that the county school boards are the ones that have their hands on the situation that's going on in their counties. Rockville, for example, has an excellent school system, and the parents and the teachers, everybody get together and decide on what's best for their county. Newton County is coming up. We're doing a lot better job than we used to. And DeKalb County needs to be more engaged. And I think that once we can get the students, parents, and the teachers, and especially paying the teachers more money, that the problems in DeKalb County would kind of cease. But that needs to stay in the hands of the county school board.
Thank you for that question. I see the Opportunity School District resolution as a serious failure. It is damaging legislation, and it removes and strips your vote for which you voted on your school superintendent and your school board members. That is first. Secondly, what will I do to manage it? Because I believe that was part of the question. It will be on the ballot for November 2016. We have to let our neighbors, our friends, our family, everyone know in the community that we have to vote this big resolution down, because it will harm us more than it will hurt us. Than it will do us good. Who defines failing is the first question. The person who defines failing is probably the person who came with the idea of the Opportunity School District. That will remove all local control. The governor will be able to appoint your superintendent. The schools may become dormant or vacant. Your local tax dollars will then be used in other schools.
Good evening, Angela Morgan. Piggybacking on what Representative Davis said, the OSD is designed by the governor's office, and it is designed to take control from the local school districts and bring it into the governor's office. It allows the governor to take and employ his own superintendent to govern over your schools. And as she has said, I'm in total agreement with her. I'm sorry to have to agree with it, has to be to that agreement, that we will lose control, and we will lose our students, and we will lose our teachers, and our economic base will start to falter. We do not need to have an outside superintendent. Had we needed an outside superintendent, there would be no real reason to have a state school superintendent. If he is not doing his job, then we need to fire him and hire someone else. I say vote him out if you feel as though in the 2017 and 18 school year that we need to have OSD. So I am very opposed to it, and I would fight vehemently in the legislature for it.
Thank you. Ms. Washington.
Good afternoon. Once again, I'm Sherry Washington, and I oppose the Opportunity School District for several reasons. Everybody said that it takes local control away from our school district. I agree with that. One of the things that we can do to manage our school system is, number one, talk to teachers. This morning I had the opportunity to read to elementary school students at C.J. Hicks Elementary School. And in the course of doing that, I started talking to the teachers, and I asked them their opinion about Opportunity School Districts. The number one thing they said is that we need to figure out how to get parents more involved in the school. And number two, we need to find resources to help children when they don't understand the concept. So that would be my ideas on how to manage. Number one, figure out how to get parents more involved. And number two, figure out how to give more resources so that children can have after-school tutoring, or maybe implement a Saturday school or something like that. But we do need to collectively oppose the Opportunity School District. Thank you.
Ms. Carter.
I'm
Well, I think I'm the only one up here this morning, this afternoon, that is a parent with teenagers in public school. So, some of what we have to manage is the conversations we're having about our schools. But I'm addressing OSD, Opportunity School District. It sounds good. The children need an opportunity to have an excellent education. However, our governor modeled this particular initiative after a failing school system. So no, we cannot pass OSD as it stands. But I've been advocating in the public schools. I actually work for one of the largest children advocacy organizations, which is the Georgia PTA. And one of the things that we vow at the PTA and in our local chamber is to work with the local schools that are in our community that are on the failing list. So I didn't wait till when I decided to run for office. I've already sat with the principal. We understand the model and we put things in place to address it and get them off the list.
Thank you. Next question. Home invasions in this district are real high. Some would say very high. This question is from the Right Government Chapter of National Action Network. What strategic barriers can be legislated to deter home invasions and black-on-black crimes infiltrating into the district? We'll start with Ms. Moore.
Well, I am an advocate for working closely with our law enforcement agencies. I think that the fear is number one. Raising our economic base is another thing. To be able to employ more people. The reason we have robberies is because people need money. And we can't stop the people who are on drugs from breaking into our homes. I fear that every night right before I go to sleep and save my parents. That I don't wake up to someone with a gun standing in my face in my house. You can't stop those people, but what you can do is help your community, help affect change in your community by helping to bring more jobs. And I think that is the ultimate key to bringing down our crime in our neighborhoods and our communities. That we actually help these folks get employed so that they are not out here trying to rob us. And to make sure that the community is involved with the law enforcement agencies. Just a week ago, we had a nice forum with them.
The strategic barriers that can be removed, one, we have to forge a partnership with the law enforcement community. And with all that has gone on in the media, we still have to find a way to live and work together. One of the main things is that, of course, we do have to have a large economic base. That is the first step because people have to have a livable wage. Without that, they will still try to find ways to make ends meet. It does not mean that they have to bring it to your house, but they will do what they feel is necessary to survive. The other piece is that we have to begin to invest in our teens and our youth. We have to have recreational centers, activities and after-school activities to involve them in. Our Boy Scouts are always busy. They can have mentors and be mentors to those young men. And then once we find a way to rebuild our community and not be afraid or feel safe again, then we can have a more vibrant community.
And then Sharon Sawyer. To make our community safe, I think we have to bridge the gap between our police force and our citizens. And some of our people that's less fortunate than we are, that come from a lower income than we do. I think overall that our police department in DeKalb County, Rockville, and Newton County does a superior job, especially in Newton County. And to have communication with the local police force, I think is a big key. And also to get the community involved in what's going on with the police force. I know in my county, our sheriff, Sheriff Brown, he comes out and he addresses different civic groups and try to help them and direct them in places that they need to go. We have a neighborhood call center where we can call in and talk to our sheriff. I can call in and talk to my sheriff personally. And I'm sure you can do that here in Rockville too. And I think that DeKalb County is where we need to focus at, because we've got a lot of issues that's going on there, and a lot of that is because of education and the economics in DeKalb County. And the leadership also.
I wanted to go back to the Opportunity School District. And one of the things that I give an opportunity to mention is that what it does, it gives the citizens the opportunity to shop for schools outside of their districts. And it also gives poor Black working families the opportunity to access better educational opportunities for their children. And when you think about it, I looked at the voting record of our current legislators, and we only had one of our legislators who even attempted to vote on the OSD, only one. And if you're saying that it doesn't work, well, why aren't you voting for it? No one has to vote for it. They didn't even cast a vote for some alternate form of legislation. So I am for it because I think most of our African American children are being bamboozled, and we have to do something in order to stop the bleeding. Thank you.
Sure. What strategic barriers can be legislated to deter home invasions and black-on-black crimes from filtering into the district?
I think one thing is increased funding for our police and our sheriff's department, so that therefore we can have a police presence. And it is true the fact that police presence is around, that would deter other little crimes from happening. And another thing is also community involvement and communication. Like Sister Sawyer said, our sheriff has created great neighborhood programs where they're always having things going on, and they're interacting with the department, and everyone's understanding from a police point of view the things that they have to go to. And another thing is also let's have summer programs to where we're able to pay these young adults or young teenagers money. Therefore, they're not out burglarizing and walking the streets. That goes right back to these apprenticeship programs that I'm looking to do.
Janice Van Ness, and I want to tell you that every one of us, it puts fear in all of us to think of a home invasion happening to us or a loved one. Nobody wants that. I certainly don't want it, but I can tell you, if we want to change things, we're going to have to go back to the 26 failing schools in DeKalb and realize that every day that goes by that we let those children in those classrooms fail and the services they receive and the educational opportunities, that result is going to be later crime issues. So we have to have change in that area. I do want to mention that as a commissioner, I work collaboratively with our sheriff, both administrations, for many years. Funding is a critical key. I supported that and look for solutions to make it even better. We also have to look at retention of police officers. It is very hard to recruit good officers. It's going to get even harder in the coming years. I think we should look at that. Also, I want to talk about accountability courts, that we're doing a great job in Rockdale County with drug courts and alcohol and DUI courts, and how they're making a difference in the criminal justice reform issues. Thank you.
Stan Williams. When I was with the U.S. Department of Education, I talked with young people all across 6 states, even here in Rockdale County. I ran what was called the Evening Reporting Center. That was an alternative to secure detention for kids who got in trouble. Now let me tell you why I told you that. Those kids would all say to me, Mr. Williams, one of the reasons why we're getting in trouble is that it's just not enough to do here in Rockdale County. Some of them got in trouble because, hey, they just didn't have enough food at home to eat. And they were sitting in somebody's house eating. What we have to do is put programs in place and projects to turn our kids around, to give them an alternative to getting in trouble, doing things like home invasions. And we can do that if we just put our minds together and our resources and give these kids the support that they need so that they can do better. That's what the Evening Reporting Center did.
That's right.
I'm a mother of 3 teenage African-American males. So I am concerned daily about crime, and especially black-on-black crime. But from a legislative opportunity, I believe we could provide more funding for community policing. And I had the privilege of serving on the Lithonia City Council, and one of the things that I initiated was getting our community and our police department involved in National Night Out, because we have to form a better relationship with the police and the community. So we have to continue to educate our families, educate our community, and let's be a community. I'm in this race because I believe we have to build stronger communities, and it comes by having stronger families. So we provide additional funding so that yes, that we do have resources to help our children find something for them to do so that they aren't idle. We've all been young, and I think sometimes we forget that we were young. But let's remember the things that we did, and let's help our kids.
Sherry Washington. Last week, there was a big hoopla in Rockdale County where a group of young men were in somebody's attic. They found 2 young men in somebody's attic. That was right outside of my house, like 2 doors down from me, literally. The police were over my house with helicopters. There was SWAT that locked down my neighborhood. People were calling me, making sure that Doreen Carter was not at my house because they were trying to make sure I wasn't going to be on the evening news because it was in my backyard. One of the things we want to do is make sure that our police department has everything they need, because when it's that close to home, you want to make sure that your law enforcement goes home that night and that everybody in the community is safe. I will be a strong advocate for every resource that the law enforcement has. That includes any mentoring projects that they want to form. I will also advocate for livable wages to get the people wages that they can live with. And any other questions you have about my law enforcement ideas, please email me, sherryforgeorgia@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you all for answering that question. We'll take a moment now to recognize the elected officials in the room. First of all, I see Newton County Sheriff Ezell Brown. I see Rockdale County Commissioner Osmond Esmond. And we have Rockdale County Chamber of Commerce, Tua Marlin. And I'm missing one, and the other elected officials in the room. Yes, sir. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Cleveland Child, Road City Council.
Thank you, sir. All right, next question. This question comes from the DeKalb County NAACP, and it looks like a few of you in the audience have the same question, and we're talking about traffic. Specifically, the question is, MARTA Rail has been a very important tool to Metro Atlanta's growth over the years. Citizens are able to live and work all over the metro area and experience safe and easy movement without the stress of interstate traffic and delay. Various areas outside of the current rail line have opposition to expansion, and some welcome it. Some say it'll bring commerce, some say it'll bring crime. Question: what is your position on extending the current rail from Indian Creek east along I-20 to Stonecrest and beyond? We'll start with Ms. Bell.
I think it's very important for us to actually extend rail. I'm in favor of it. I think an economy or a community who is able to move both people, goods, and services can become a thriving community. I know a lot of people in the community who unfortunately are unable to work some of the highest paying jobs simply because they don't have access to transportation. If we want to move our economy and our communities further, if we want to create high paying jobs, if we want to improve education, we have to consider rail. Thank you.
Yes, to the left.
I would support rails to the east, but there's also areas in Rockdale and Newton which do not want rails. And therefore, we have to find an alternative where we can maybe contract the church vans and utilize them, shuttling them to the Stonecrest area where they can get on the actual rail. So we've got to be creative in providing transportation, because That way people can actually make it to jobs. We also need to connect with the major cities that are in Georgia, especially with the dredging of the Savannah Port. So we're gonna have to connect all this together. So I would support rails to the east, but look for alternatives for Rockdale and do by way of shuttles and different things like that.
Janice Van Ness. I would not support the expansion of MARTA at this time. Rockville is one of the largest users for Greta, which is the bus service going to Atlanta at several different stops. I agree there has to be a transportation alternative, and there have been several discussed. Certainly T-Splosh was voted down in this area, and that's what the residents in these communities voted. But I would say that alternatives are definitely a great need for our community.
I'm Stan Williams, and I would support rapid rail moving out of Newton County all the way to Atlanta. I believe that rapid rail can improve the economy here in this area as well, because I've seen what happened to Decatur. I saw what happened to Brookhaven. I know what those places looked like a few years ago before rail came to them. But by the same token, we need to have a problem relieved right now. And I would be in favor of looking at other alternatives in the interim. Maybe an HOV lane all the way down to Atlanta. Maybe an alternative HOV lane working with another county like Gwinnett, 78, to relieve traffic off 20. But we have to solve the problem. And I would be in favor of going down to the Capitol, negotiating, and making sure that we got some solution to the traffic problems we have with I-20 into Atlanta.
Ms. Carter?
Well, the last few years, we've definitely been advocating for extending rail along the I-20 corridor. We have a few options for relieving the traffic. We have the option of light rail as well as heavy rail. We have the opportunity to extend public bus service to this area. And if we want to really be innovative, we have railroad tracks that are already in place. We can look at opportunities where transit and CSX can partner together. But ultimately, it's about getting to and from. So if we had living jobs with living wages along the areas in the 92nd district that does not have public transit, that is definitely another option for transportation in this area. So we need to be looking at all the alternatives when it comes to moving people along the 92nd district.
Well, I've been out canvassing during the course of this election cycle. I spoke to a lady who is about 70 years old, and she said, Ms. Washington, well, the number one thing I want for you to do when you get to Atlanta is fight for me for a rail system to come down the I-20 corridor, because I'm 70 years old and I'm scared to drive to Atlanta, and I really want to go to Atlanta. And that was the number one thing that made sense. We have to be able to move, especially our seniors or people that don't have viable transportation up and down the corridor. That makes sense for them, it makes sense for all of us. The number two thing is that, like I've said before, the city of Lithonia is primed to become a livable community. In order for it to be a livable community with work, play, and living area, they're going to need that transportation piece. So I would emphatically advocate for MARTA to come down the eastern corridor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sawyer?
Once again, Sharon Sawyer, out of Newton County. And I was fortunate enough to be living in DeKalb County when MARTA first came into existence. It was 25 cents to get on it and take you right straight downtown 5 Points. And to me, to see the increase in MARTA system now, it's just twofold. You know, the services that they offer, the places that they go, it's just a great improvement for people and quality of life, for people to get to and from. And I think that if we could expand MARTA to Newton County, it would be absolutely wonderful. You'll have transportation to the games, to the city, to jobs, to the hospital, just a completely completely change of how we get around. And this three-county district that we're in, it would be so important, so vitally important for new businesses to come. It would be an option that we could put on the table to show new businesses that we are in the process of bringing water to these places, and I think that it would be a wonderful idea to expand down to these areas.
Representative Anderson.
Thank you. I will support expanding on Margaret as we just passed the House Bill 170, which was an important piece of legislation to help fix those, our transportation problems. I-20 cannot handle any more traffic before 10 o'clock in the morning, and it did not used to be like that a few years back. And to keep us connected to Metro Atlanta and the 10-county region, we cannot remain an island because economic development, life, and everything else will pass us by. It will create jobs, it will bring new revenue, and it will fix the key transportation issue that we have.
I just want to remind the public that Mr. Dunn, we don't live in a ghetto, and our district is not comprised of that. And less than 20% of the crime in this district is made by people over 35. Just want to say that. I didn't like that statement. I'm sorry I have to come back at her on that. As your next state senator, I have an idea, since MARTA doesn't want to pull in right now with a table to talk about MARTA, is that we do have this rail here in Lithonia, CSC owns it, and that we would be able to use it. It goes straight downtown Atlanta and it comes back here all the way past Newton County. It's there, it's immediate, and we need a senator that can start the conversation so that our children can compete for the same jobs that the children on the north side are in Atlanta, the 500 jobs. So we need a senator that will come in and start the conversation and decide on something that's immediate, quick, and that can help us now.
All right, before we move to the next question, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Mr. Doma, would you like to respond to Ms. Moore's question?
Yes, I would. Thank you for this opportunity. This is a question that concerns all Americans in general, and African Americans in particular. Blacks usually live, a lot of blacks live in the most economically depressed circumstances of any socio-economic group. There was a study done by the Kaiser Foundation in 2013, and the study showed that in the state of Georgia, 10% of whites live in poverty. The comparable figure for blacks was 25%. Of these poor black children, 33% of were defined as living in a ghetto, regardless of what you say it is and not is. I live in unincorporated Lithonia. 3 blocks down from my house is Flat Rock Elementary, and it's on the felon school list. So it's the definition that's been provided by previous studies in the past. The other thing I want to touch on is that Ms. Anderson here, talks about Brenna crises and things that we need to do. But if you look at her record, when the OSD came up for a vote, she did not cast a vote on it. She did not propose any other legislation, and that is the type of leadership we have. If we're in crises, we need to solve the problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We will move on to Ms. Moore. Thank you. We'll move on to our next question. This has to do with violence. Has to do with violence. No. The next question is from Rock W, section of the National Council of Negro Women. And its involvement is representing gun violence. As we all know and heard and have seen tragic stories in the news, gun violence has become an outrageous problem in our country. It's affecting people going to the movies, going to college, going to school, going across campuses, police involvement, churches. The question is, how do you do the connection between or impact of mental health and gun violence? And how can you, as a state legislature, provide local municipalities the resources needed to prevent and aid in this dilemma? We'll start with Mr. Jordan. can you, as a state legislator, provide local municipalities the resources needed to prevent and aid in the dilemma of mental health and gun violence?
Okay, having served in the U.S. Navy, dealing with, I guess, armed guns and all, I mean, we went through training. Now, the way it's set up now, if you want to go off, you can just go in there and just leave it. I think we could get some type of legislation to require that everyone have some type of mental evaluation. Maybe cut the fees to the actual permit and allow them to have some type of evaluation done. Just to, because right now, the way things are escalating, you got a lot of people that really don't have the training to utilize them and make them too easy for them. So, but I do agree, everyone should be able to verify, but I think everyone should have proper training.
Jenny Spin asks, I think there's a direct correlation between mental health and guns and the issues that we've seen. And I would definitely work towards finding campaigns that would allow our communities to do a better job educating citizens about how to report people with mental health issues, how to have access to services. It is not an easy path if you have a loved one that has mental health issues to get services. And there's stumbling blocks all along the way right now. I would also advocate for making sure that if someone gets a temporary restraining order taken out on them, that there's a link in technology and software that would allow that person's background to be looked and see if they have a gun permit that they possess. Thank you.
Stan Williams. I mean, there's something already out there that can help us to alleviate the mental health problem. In Georgia, all we got to do is extend Medicaid. We got 680,000 people, residents in Georgia, who are eligible for Medicare. And we're not allowing them to have that Medicare simply because we don't want to accept 100% dollars to pay for it from the federal government for 3 years, guys. And after that, 90% forever. It doesn't make any sense. If we accept the dollars, our people will get healthier, mentally, physically, and otherwise. And therefore, gun violence as a result of mental illness will just start to go down. Simple as that.
That's correct.
Well, when I think about gun violence and mental health, I begin to think about how we've forgotten about our brother. We stop taking care of each other. We have to address legislation and increase funding so that people that have mental diseases can get the help that they need. We have to tighten the legislation on the gun laws in order that people who want to purchase guns, they can't just go out and get a gun. And we need to close the loopholes in laws that allow people to purchase guns outside of the legal realm. So first, dealing with mental illness, we have to increase the funding. We have to also, as community people, we have to begin to care about our brothers and sisters. And so I believe working together as a community, tighten up legislation and increasing funding for mental health will begin to address these issues with gun law.
I'd have to agree with Stan Williams. He pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. The increase in Medicaid expansion will also help those with mental health issues so that they could have access to evaluations and things like that. You all, I am a carrier, and I know how easy it is to get a gun in the state of Georgia. If you go down, it takes 30 seconds. There should be something where they have to look at your mental fitness, your mental health fitness, in order to get a weapon. And we also need to have gun safety classes. I know that would make more of us more comfortable with your neighbor having the right to carry. And also that would extend Georgians' right to carry, because then we can carry in other states that don't allow us to carry, like South Carolina, because they want us to have the gun safety classes also. So number one, extend Medicaid to cover the mentally ill, and number two, have the gun safety classes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Adams.
I just wanted to mention that with all the gun control laws that we have, the state of Illinois has some of the strictest gun laws in the nation, and yet their percentage of crime by guns continue to rise. So obviously, we still have a problem there. And when it comes to these mass shootings, I've actually done the research on that. And with the mass shootings, most of these people are not mentally ill. So we still have some other problems, underlying problems that we need to address that I'll take a look at. The other thing is, I analyzed the state's budget. It's 434 pages. And what I found is it seems like there are monies that are allocated towards mental illness. I'm not sure how all that's going to be allocated. But right now, it does seem like that stricter gun control laws are not solving our problem in our communities. Thank you.
Sharon, sorry again. I don't think stricter gun control laws is the answer. Most of the time that crime is done, especially in those mass murders, the people are not mentally ill. I had no record of being mentally ill. And I don't think you can just blanket that. You know, it's education, people with guns. I lived around guns all my life as a child. My father had guns in the house. And it's respect for guns. You know, you have to start that from a very early age. And to sit there and think that the state can mandate how somebody reacts with a gun, I don't think that's realistic. You know, so I think that gun laws, gun education starts at home. You know what kind of family you have, you know what kind of children you have. You have to lock those guns up, you have to take care of them where they're stored. The state can only do so much. We as citizens also have to take responsibility for the guns.
Thank you. I will say that our gun laws need to be tighter. There is no way that gun bill should have passed the way that it did to allow guns in churches and in schools. We have to be more responsible as gun carriers and as citizens within our community. Usually, on an issue concerning mentally ill patients, the budget calls them, on the budget, the line item is specifically behavioral disabilities. The mentally ill don't always get all of that or even a large portion of that money. It is not talked about, it is not dealt with. And usually those people who are mentally ill don't directly buy the gun, they may have access to someone else. So we have to be more responsible citizens as gun carriers.
Well, I think all of us have a really great point. Education, gun laws, and expanding Medicare is great. Once you get to the Medicare section, it does not particularly take care of mental health issues. Our mental health system is broken here in the state of Georgia, and just expanding Medicare is not going to help. There's not enough physicians out here that can control every person that has a mental issue. We'd have to ship them to another state. So I think as your next legislator, what I'd like to consider is to acknowledge mental health at the state capitol, have mental health days, start to form groups, because I'm greatly forming little groups within our communities to talk about this and being our brother's keeper. And bringing in, having an advocate chair to go out and find some of the people here who may need to have an advocacy group, someone to talk to. So we are our brother's keepers, and the next state senator should form these groups to help the community itself.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the audience, and this is specifically for the state representative of the Senate, Senate representative candidates. What will you do to address the phantom vote process for persons wrongly districted by their voter registrations, i.e. voting outside of their assigned polling locations? We'll start with Ms. next. What will you do to address the phantom vote process for persons wrongly districted by their voter registrations, i.e. voting outside of the district? what can you do about that if elected?
Like, let me just clarify, do you mean, people that are incorrectly on voter rolls, outdated voter rolls, that kind of thing? Hi, great question, we never asked that. That is definitely one thing that needs to be addressed. There's a lot of old information on our data rolls, and I think that the investment in technology at the state level and working with the local elections boards would help alleviate a lot of the issues. I know that's an ongoing frustration, and I think that's across party lines, that they definitely need to be cleaned up so that we have accurate and transparent voting processes. So I would advocate for legislation to help clean those up. Right now, there are rules that are in place that they have to, any claims that you have about disputes for people that are dead, people that don't live at that address, they have to be reported so early that they wouldn't even be affected in this race because it's a special called election. Thank you.
Ms. Williams?
I'm not sure I totally understand the question, but this is what I'm saying. I believe that we've got to always make sure, regardless if we've got issues or problems with voting, we got to fix it. But fixing those problems, you still got to make sure that every citizen who walks in the door to vote has an opportunity to vote. And if there's a challenge to be made, it should be fixed later. But we should not stop people from having the opportunity to vote.
Mr. Gordon?
Again, I think updated software will also help alleviate that, and proper training. We need to go through those roles. I know our board of elections, they work tirelessly, but the main thing is making sure that they're fully staffed to be able to take care of those issues.
I love being a problem solver, and I heavily believe in the Voting Rights Act, and I do think that every qualified citizen should have the right to vote. However, on the other hand, I think if people are voting fraudulently, then I think we need to deal with it. The other thing I do know for a fact is that I know that the Secretary of State's office have recently launched a new software, and the purpose of that software is to prevent some of these voter irregularities that we're having. But I do heavily believe that every single person deserves the right to vote, and if someone is deterring you from the right to vote, then I think we need to deal with it. And as your next senator, that's one of the things I would definitely take a stronger look at, and maybe employing some type of technology. But I do know that some new software was recently launched, and I don't know the outcome of it, but it's something that we can certainly use as a next step.
Sharon Sawyer. And I think that the driver's license right now is the key to keeping the fraud down. You have to have some type of ID from an early age. Kids have to have ID in school now. And you have to register at 18 and stuff like that. You need to have your ID. There's no place that you can go without showing your ID. And that's for the elderly, have to show ID, even with their Medicaid cards, they have to show their ID. So once you can put stricter rules around you having your driver's license or some form of state ID, I think that's going to deter a lot of the fraud that's out there. And we continue to educate our citizens and our voters, then I don't think that we will have these problems. But we certainly need to look at new innovative software and to keep technology going forward in the future with our voting. One day you might not have to do nothing, just put your finger up there to vote. But I do believe that new innovative software and updating our polling places is the key to that.
Thank you for the question. I, as a representative, I advocated for and will continue to advocate for early voting and extended voting days. There was a bill on the table to try to stop that. We defeated it. Thank God we defeated it, and we still have today at least 21 days. It was going to go from 21 to 12. We defeated that bill, and it still allows us to have early voting. But there is a bill in motion that will allow someone who is registered in a county, if they are not able to vote in their precinct, they can vote anywhere in that county. So we are continuing to work that and tweak it to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to exercise their right to vote.
Well, in 2009, I ran for Secretary of State, and I believe that it is the Secretary of State's job, not the precinct's job, not us as legislators, to enact software. We spent $186 million on these voting machines, and they're all fallible. You have no actual record of your vote. Do you even know if your vote counts? There are 1,100 votes in each machine. And if the power goes out, or the water gets in it, or someone rides past with one of these guns, they can shoot it and tear your vote down. You have no evidence of your vote. We as legislators need to hold the Secretary of State responsible and hold his or her feet to the fire, because they are the chief elections officer. And our votes get lost every day. Whether you know it or not, you spend your time and your energy with your one precious vote, and you have absolutely no idea. So they are called phantom votes.
Thank you. Again, that question was directed specifically at the same candidates. Now this question goes to all candidates. This person would like to understand how new jobs can be brought to the area so that those wanting to work don't have to leave the county. And this concern also is about companies that are brought into the county, bringing employees outside of the county into the county. What is your plan for bringing jobs to the area and employing those that live in the area the jobs are brought to? We're going to start with the House candidate, Ms. Washington.
The number one way to bring jobs to the district is to educate the district residents on technology jobs. That's the way of the future. We're talking about coding. We're talking about green jobs. We need to get our infrastructure, our children, our high schoolers, our Georgia Perimeter College students, our Georgia Piedmont Technical College students. We need to get them acclimated to the new wave of the future. That's, like I said, the green jobs, the technology jobs, and then we recruit the businesses that are going green. And we offer things like tax incentives so that these jobs can come in. We already know that these are the kind of jobs we want. They are the jobs that provide livable wages. And we also encourage labor to be a part of this so that we know that our workers are protected and that they have opportunities for advancement.
Ms. Carter.
Well, thank you. As the president of the Greater Lithonia Chamber of Commerce, we have the opportunity to work with businesses that are looking at coming to particular areas. So what I'll continue to do is work with our economic development departments in the 92nd district so that we're more proactive in the jobs that we want to see in our district. Right now, movie industry is booming in Georgia. We are the new Hollywood. Newton County is getting movies, Rockdale and DeKalb, but we could do more. We've talked to some of the landowners on the Lithonia Industrial Parkway. I'm saying let's turn Lithonia Industrial Parkway into the new Hollywood. You have all of these empty buildings where the industries have left that's bring new industries in that again bring living wages to our community. That's why you need Doreen Carter as your state representative.
Mr. Wicks.
There's a direct relationship between education and economics. In every community, it's business and industry that drive the engine that promote workforce and economic development. But it's education that provides the fuel for the engine. Now the reason I say that, we've got to start sitting down with stakeholders in the community and determining what is the direction we're going in. What are the jobs of the future? What are the emerging jobs that we want to be in Rockdale, Newton, and DeKalb County? And then decide what are the education requirements, what's the training requirements that we need to be training our students so that they will be able to do those jobs. I've done this before. I implemented a project called One Community, One Goal in the city of Miami, in Dade County, Florida. The essence of that was to create an education system that prepared the kids in Dade County, Florida for the emerging careers 10 years hence.
I would just like to say that I think our Rockville Career Academy, right here locally on Parker Road, is one of the most outstanding career academies in the state of Georgia, and it's been recognized for that. I think they have really done a great job in working with our local industries and training people to go into those fields when they graduate. But there's also a lot of other programs that are especially good as well, including one that's led by Katrina Young through Georgia Piedmont, Georgia Work Ready, and that is an exceptional program, taking someone with no perceived job skills per se and going into a 4-week, 40-hour class and coming out with certifications that almost guarantee them a job. So there's a lot of new innovations, including one called Georgia Works for the homeless. There's a tremendous amount of structure and programming that goes into that and support services. So at all socioeconomic levels, we can make a difference with job opportunities, and I would be prepared to help all people make sure they can recognize their dreams. Thank you.
I guess the first thing is actually marketing the area. District 43, I call it the jewel. We're sitting along the I-20 corridor. I've been fortunate enough to actually work on the front end of initiating multi-million-dollar projects coming into the county. And one thing we're looking at, we don't just look at any job coming here. We look at the investment, the number of employees that they're going to have, how many are they going to pour in our area. And so, in doing that, most of the time, this way goes right back to our peer apprenticeship program, but we've got to have the quality workforce to be able to do these jobs. So the main thing is to actually, let's market.
I believe strongly in education. I believe it's the economic engine that actually stimulates our economy. But because we have so many inequities, we have so many disparities in education, especially, and I'm going to say this again, especially with our African American children. And I think one of the things that we have to do is understand that I'm not going to employers' doors every day, and you know what they tell me? Hey Diane, we have some high-paying jobs, but we don't have enough qualified minorities to fill those jobs. And so I think we have to go back to the basics. We have to look at my plan, which is a 3E plan. And if I was elected as senator, 3 things I'm going to focus on. First of all, education. Second of all, the economy. And then equality. And I think when we can focus on those 3 E's, we can make some progress in this community.
The 43rd. I call it the diamond in the rough. We have so much potential in this tri-county area that we have, the 43rd, that we can just draw industry from around the state, around the country, around the world into our district with high-paying technical jobs. Not only that, we can go into the corporate business and to be in a position that we are now, like I said, diamond in the rough, in this 43rd district, this tri-county area, Covington, Rockdale, and Newton County. We have the people, and I think that the education in these 3 counties is going to be the key. But you're also going to need some people out there on the state level to bring these industries to the job. We have to make ourselves acceptable to the world like that, to come into this diamond in the rough that I call the 43rd. And I will work hard to get that kind of industry here. Green jobs will be one of the most important parts that we need to work on to get jobs here in this county. And as far as going back into DeKalb County along the Panola Road area, my job that I worked at Lithonia Lighting was reinvesting in that area right there. A lot of you may know that around there where Lithonia Lighting is, they are coming back 700 jobs, engineering, high-paying jobs. And so I think we need to go to that area.
Thank you.
Thank you. I realize that district is a marketable district. We have to market what we have. And one of the things that I did is I challenged construction companies as well as the organization that wanted to be in the district itself to hire locally. That is part of bringing your company here, is to hire locally. And once we continue to challenge and hold their feet to the fire that they want to bring the company here, that they have to hire locally, then we will have new jobs in our district.
Well, I think that the next state senator has a responsibility to move the district and the state of Georgia into a direction for the next 7 generations. It is important that we leave a legacy, and everything that we do right now moves at lightning speed. We have moved into the Facebook and the Twitter age, and it's never going away. It's like rock and roll. It's here to stay, and it's only going to get faster. Jobs are going to be moving faster. We don't need a senator who's going to go down and smooth up with lobbyists. We need to be networking. And the state senators across the entire state of Georgia have a very good opportunity to be able to vet other jobs outside of the state of Georgia and bring them in. They're doing it right now. They're bringing you car companies. They're bringing you food chains. I'm sure we don't need another food chain here, but they are bringing major restaurants, and you're not bringing them to our district. And I want to point out one thing. I'm probably going to run over on this. Last night I was on the north side of Georgia, of the cab, and I could not find one fried chicken place. My daddy's in the hospital tonight. He asked me to go get some fried chicken. I couldn't find one fried chicken place. Not saying that we need that, but if we need something that's different, and they have that on the north side, we need to bring it to our district.
Thank you. All right. Next question. Ms. Carter, I'll give you an opportunity to answer that question. Did you already answer that? Okay, good. Well, make sure I answer. All right, next question. The person that's elected will represent counties outside of your residential address. If you live in Newton County, you're going to be representing people in DeKalb County. If you live in DeKalb, you represent people in Newton County. Can you tell us about a social, economic, health, governmental, or any other important issue that is unique to the citizens of a county in which you do not live? Tell me about that, and what is your plan to address that issue? Repeat, okay? Tell us about the social, economic, health, governmental, or any other important issue that is unique to the citizens of another county that you represent outside of your residential address. And what is your plan to address that issue? Okay, give you 5 seconds to think about that. We're going to start with Ms. Washington.
Mine is easy because I live in Rockdale and DeKalb is my district, and the city of Lithonia has already started for us. They're trying to make their community livable, and I've mentioned that before, but they have a great plan to make their city of Lithonia a live, work, play community. And it's going to take being able to roll up your sleeve and me using my administrative. I have a master's in public administration as well as a law degree. And it's going to take both of those, being able to market the community, understanding what a livable community is. I did economic development and community development for the city of East Point and the city of Savannah. So to get down and work with the mayor and the city council there and to make that a livable community, to recruit businesses, to recruit the kind of residents they want, and to recruit the transportation that they need, that's something that I'm looking forward to addressing.
Ms. Carter.
Well, I actually lived in the city of Lithonia and served on the city council. But one of the things that I think is interesting is because I live so close to Rockdale, it really isn't that much that is different in the two communities. But what I find unique in Old Town Conyers, if you feel like you just want to go back and feel like you're at home, it has that old hometown feeling. And one of the things that think that they've done excellently is to maximize the movie industry opportunity. So what we can do is a better job is ensuring that people in Conyers are having access to the jobs in the movie industry that is coming into their community. And I would definitely serve to ensure that those residents in Rockdale are getting those opportunities while at the same time we're increasing opportunities in Lithonia. And since I helped to get the LCI approved in the city of Lithonia, we definitely will have great experience serving the whole District 92.
Thank you. Ms. Moore? Ms. Moore?
Well, one thing that I know for sure is business. I've been in business for more than 20 years. And here in Rockdale County, in order to bring business, someone asked the question the other day, which county would you bring the business to? It depends on which kind of business it is. Here in Rockdale County, it's still on septic. You have a Publix grocery store, a major chain that's still on septic. I'm not sure that I can have a business to come and we're still on septic. So that may be an issue. So I have to look at what type of business we can bring that would be a big business, even if it's a multi-billion-dollar business or a small business, and decide where we would plunk that down. Not every business is suited for every county. And so to know your county is what my job is, to know the county underneath and above, so that I know what type of business I can bring here. And again, not snoozing with the lobbyists, but networking with the business companies across the world.
As I have represented DeKalb and Rockdale, I have supported legislation for CIP in Rockdale County, and as mayor have put together a comprehensive plan for economic development, which I will continue to do, not just in DeKalb, but in Rockdale and Newton as well. In Newton County, there is an environmental issue, and as a former member of the DeKalb Board of Health, there are plans in place that we can use to try to correct and combat any environmental issues so that our communities are safe to live, breathe, and drink water and breathe air.
Sharon Sawyer, straight out of Newton County. And one of the things that I think that can bring us closer together is our seniors. We haven't talked too much about our seniors. And I think that is something in common in all three counties again, from Newton County to Rockdale County to DeKalb County. I have friends that live in DeKalb County when their parents are afraid to just go outside, afraid to go to the store. So I think in getting our seniors involved, getting them feeling safe in their environments is something that the Tri-County area can do to help them feel better where they are. Seniors would be my number one thing in three counties area.
I live in DeKalb County and I have businesses in Rockdale County, so I went out and I researched Newton County. And Newton County has had $21 million simply disappear. They have Bear Creek, they have rich water resources. If we can harness those natural resources, we can create some high-paying jobs. If we're able to build positive coalitions with the east and the west part of Newton County, we can accomplish much. We need additional collaborations between all three of the counties. And I'm not looking at what I'll do with one county. I think it's important, if you're going to be a successful senator, you have to look at the entire district. And whatever is in that district is what I would even take care of home first. And home for me, if I was your senator, would be looking intimately at each one of these counties and figuring out and meeting with task force and forming coalitions and partnerships and figuring out what is it that we need to do to bridge the force of the business corporations with the nonprofits, with the such as the NAACP and the Urban League and other nonprofits. We have to find a way to collaborate across the board.
Thank you. Well, my graduate degree is leadership. And one thing I would like to do is to bring the leadership in all three counties together. And let's develop a master plan for the I-20 corridor and taking the best out of each county and developing that so we have economic opportunities for everyone.
Hi, Judy Spann, right now is that they have a lot of raw land available for future development. And I know that that is a great opportunity for economic development. They have some hot plans in the works, if you will. And I think there are a lot of things that are very favorable in Newton County. And Rockdale and DeKalb are a little bit limited by space and land, but they certainly have opportunities before them, and they've been very aggressive and actually funded their economic development office on a larger scale than we have in Rockdale County. So I think that's been a great advantage for them.
Similar to the other candidates, and I'm going to address it as you asked the question. You asked about the issues in each one of the counties. In DeKalb, right. What do you like in another county? What I like in another county.
What is the issue in a county in which you do not live?
That's what I thought you said.
Right, and how will you address that?
What is an issue in a county that I do not live?
Correct.
That's what I thought you said. And the issue in, as I see it, in Newton County has to do with the environment, the landfill, okay? I believe that that's an issue that really affects all three of the counties, and that we have to work together to fix that issue in Newton County. I think in Rockdale, we have an economic issue here. I mean, at one time we had 9% unemployment. Now, when you look at Newton County, economically they're doing well. As a young man said, we've got to figure out ways to come together and bring together the strength from each one of those counties to work together to solve the problems in each county. In DeKalb, there's an ethics issue. We've got to fix that. We've got to work with the leadership to fix it and bring the community back together again.
All right. If everyone will join me in, before we do our closing statements. The time went fast, I tell you. I got 20 more questions up here. Anyone want to stay till about midnight? No. Oh, I forgot it was Thursday night, excuse me. All right. In your closing statement, if you would address a couple of things, and I'm sneaking in 2 more questions that I want you to address in your closing statement. Let us know why your opinion is different than some of your other candidates in whatever platform you're standing on. Okay, tell us about how you're different. Why should someone vote for you versus the other candidates at the table? You probably already had that in your closing statement anyway, but just put that in there while you're doing so. Everyone understand? All right. Mr. Jordan.
Again, my name is Marcus Jordan, and I'm seeking to be your next state senator for the 43rd district. I have experience in working with multi-million-dollar corporations. I have overseen a $2 billion tax digest, along with a $1 million budget. What sets me apart from everyone else, again, my strength is economic development, and that's my platform where I stand to create economic opportunities and providing pre-apprenticeship programs for our youth.
Yeah, 30 more seconds.
And that's why I asked for your vote come November 3rd or tomorrow. And if I can't be the first choice, I'll make it the second choice. Thank you.
I have a question for everyone. Has your life improved in the last 3 years in this district? Are you feeling better about where you are in your life right now in this district? Well, I'm not a career politician and I'm not a professional liar, let me define what I think that is. Those are lawyers and politicians. I'm not a career politician. 80% of life is actually showing up to cast a vote. And so if your life has not improved, I'm an independent thinker. I can think on my feet, I can think outside the box, I can solve problems, and I think you deserve better. Georgia deserves better. You need to believe that you can do better and be better. And I think what we need down at that Capitol is someone that can go in those back back rooms and forge the deals that need to be forged to better your life from an economic prosperity point of view. And if you can't get anything out of committee, when you are elected, you will be a sitting judge senator. And I think it's important for you to understand that when you cast your vote. Thank you.
Again, my name is Sharon Zori, resident of Newton County. Worked over like almost 20 years here in Rockdale County, and spent my early life in DeKalb County, in Kirkwood, East Lake area. Up and down the I-20 corridor constantly. Back and forth from Covington to the city. Just enjoying life. And just being thankful for where we have come from in a short time. Voting for me, you'll be voting for a person that knows the county, that knows the people, that knows the issues. Mr. Williams mentioned the landfill in Covington. I was on that citizen committee there in Covington. That is a tremendous opportunity for us to turn it into a green jobs. But you need people who's going to work, who's going to be pushing that issue forward in the state capital. Being a resident of DeKalb County in my early years, I've seen that county come from 50% white people to 90% black. With the diversity that we have of our citizens there, again, that is a diamond in the rough. We have the people in the area, the businesses can come, and I want to work with you to bring those businesses to it. And also to take care of our senior citizens that need help. Thank you. I also work with homeless shelters. Love you.
The choice is easy. I have already been representing Rockdale and DeKalb as your state representative. What I do know is that I voted no on Senate Resolution to oppose the Opportunity School District. What I do know is that I have character and integrity. What I do know is that I am a very strong Democrat, and I will never sell out the people that I represent or live in the community with. What I do know is that I will continue to fully represent Senate District 43.
Angela Moore again, and what I do know is that I am one of the strongest candidates here when it comes to negotiating, when it comes to being a people person, and when it comes to organizing. These are the three factors that you really should be looking for in your next state senator. We don't need a senator who is in the old school and not prepared to go into the new school. I've got one foot in the old school and one foot in the new school. I kind of resonate right there with you. I'm able to attract the younger people to my corner and the older people. I'm a people person, and I think that really needs to be said. I'm a bipartisan relationship builder. However, when you do get Republicans who jump in, and unlike Ms. Betty Ness, who are not productive and progressive in your district, you should not vote for them in. So vote out the old, bring in the new, try something different, try to find a state senator amongst us that will have your best interests at heart, and not just a party of friends of you.
Thank you. Ms. Ennis.
Ms. Moore, I think that was a compliment for me, so thank you. I will take it. Thank you very much. So I want to make sure that all of you know that my heart is in this race. And my lovely campaign assistant tonight, my daughter Emerson, is a future leader. And if you don't know her, you need to meet her, because she's going to big places in this world. I want to tell you that I'm in this race because I want to make a difference for each and every one of you. I don't care about your party affiliation. I don't care about issues that are hard to work through. This healthcare issue, homelessness, poverty, those are the things that we have to all work together collectively to make a difference. And I am a proven leader. I'm a successful business owner, only by God's grace. And I'm going to tell you that I will work harder than anybody you know to make your life better, and this District 43 a shining star for all of us. Thank you, vote Van Ness.
I'm the best candidate Let me just say that to you straight up, okay? There's nobody up here who has the background and experience in corporate America, in the federal government, running a major nonprofit, that I do. Now, the experience is one thing, but the accomplishments is something else. In IBM, even in non-marketing positions, I was able to be the one person that was responsible for us sole sourcing equipment to the state of South Carolina and to the city of Atlanta. In the federal government, I was asked, Stanley, we need you to institutionalize something that will live beyond the administration. I did that. Go to my website, www.stanwilliamsforsenate.com. Judy Hallway. Her name's something else now. She was my deputy. She's heading up the Blue Ribbon Schools concept that's lived long after I left the federal government.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking our candidates for Senate. And now we'll hear our closing statements from our two House candidates for seat 92. Ms. Carter.
Well, again, thank you for coming out this evening. I am Doreen Carter, and what uniquely qualifies me to serve you is that I'm passionate about helping people live better lives. I have the experience in economic development. I serve as the president of the Greater Lithonia Chamber of Commerce. At the Georgia legislature, we'll have to pass a budget. I am the comptroller for the Georgia PTA. I've served in our community. I've helped bring jobs to our community. I've helped bring relationships where we work with our commissioners and keeping recreational centers open, our libraries open, traveled to China with the president of your chamber. So I have a very diverse background. I'm here to serve you. That's what I've been brought up to do. I am Doreen Carter. My name is first on that ballot because I should be your first choice. Doreen Carter for your state representative.
First, once again, I'm Sherry Washington, and let me first address the disparaging remarks that was made about attorneys. Those of us who have law degrees, we have spent an additional 3 years outside of the 4 years that we spent in undergraduate school. Those of us who are attorneys and the ones that are in this room tonight, we have sat for a while. I have sat for 3 of them, licensed in 3 jurisdictions. We love our professions. We get up every day and work hard to protect your constitutional rights, to advocate for our clients, be it the state of Georgia or the ones that come to us on the street. I have been up at 2 o'clock in the morning advocating for my clients, calling people, and I took great offense to the remark made about attorneys. Now, you see this passion? This is what I'll take down to the State House for you. This is why you need to vote for Sherry Washington for state representative, because Washington works. Washington will take this advocacy, and Washington will work for you as state representative. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the candidates for Georgia House seat 92. Thank you. All right. I'm going to bring one of the tails back up to do our announcements and closing.
Just a quick announcement. All of the elected officials and the current candidates on Sunday, this Sunday, right here at 10 o'clock, we'll be having what we call our annual worship and peace ceremony. And it's a worship service, but thereafter we also host a meet and greet for the candidates and for the elected officials. And we just open up that invitation to you all. And I can only piggyback off of this. I want to give Mr. Art, or let us give Mr. Art Crutcher a hand. I'm going to say it. This was Art's first time moderating a forum. Okay, and we want to thank all of you, each of you, for coming out and hearing from the candidates. Do you feel like you're better prepared to go vote now?
Yes.
Very good, very good. But we've done our job. Again, on behalf of the collaborative organizations, we thank you so much. We wish you guys a very safe trip home and a wonderful weekend ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Our timekeeper, Mr. James Stevens.